What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today we're talking about, now that the summer's come to an end, we're going to talk about what we thought of this summer's movies and what to look forward to coming Oscar season. What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in to the Elsewhere podcast. I am your host, Luke Larson, and joining me today, as per the usual, is my co-host, who some would call lovely and loquacious, Old Legs, Jordan Isis.
What's up? What up? Let's do this. Let's talk about some Oscar movies. I'm pumped.
See, I need more of that out of you sometimes.
Ready.
I don't know if you guys can tell, I am a little bit under the weather. I'm a little sick. Getting through it.
You sound terrible.
We really shouldn't even be doing this, right?
It's
I'm
not.
gonna lose listeners.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe.
I can't believe I'm here right now. To be honest.
Well, we appreciate you putting up with this shit. But what was it? Thursday I took off of work because I was sick. The first day of work I've missed because I'm a tryhard, I guess. But stayed home and actually just watched 4 movies. That's all I did all day. It's pretty
Wow.
awesome.
What movies did you watch?
Well, thanks for asking, Jordan.
Were they good movies?
They were all right. I own them. I started with The Nice Guys, which just came out on Blu-ray.
Very good.
Watched that again. Loved it. And then I was like, hey, while I'm in the 70s, how about another 70s crime thriller, American Hustle, which I loved. Now that it's been a couple years, people are like, oh, fuck that movie or whatever. I don't know why. I realized I hadn't seen it in probably 2 years. It's like, I'll throw it on. And, yeah, I was like, I love this movie. Like, it was so much fun. Love the 70s. And then I thought, hey, let's move on to the 80s. So, watched The Wolf of Wall Street. Another great movie,
Did you pop a couple Quaaludes?
Some lewds. It was tempting. I wanted to get some hookers, some blow, but I'm not quite ready to ruin my life at this point.
Right.
But I'll get there. We'll
we
get
need to
there.
make more money first.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
We're missing an essential part of the equation.
It's just
We need a lot
an
of
unlimited
money.
amount of money before we can do that. Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah, so I watched that, and then I was really trying hard to figure out what the next movie was going to be that I watched. I almost went with the Grand Budapest Hotel because it's been a while since I've seen that, but I went with one that's been even longer since I've seen it, Shutter Island, another movie that's probably been at least 4 or 5 years since I've seen. Saw it on the shelf. I just watched a Leo movie, and I really liked that movie. Rewatching it, I was just like, this feels like it came out in 1945. Like it felt like an old school movie.
Yeah, how does that movie hold up?
I think it holds up really well because upon initial release, I think it kind of was. I think a lot of the general going public really liked it.
Skewered a little bit, right?
Right. Because a lot of the general going public liked it, but a lot of critics didn't because it was a Martin Scorsese movie.
Right.
And they just expected more out of that, So, but I think over time, I think it's aged really well. I like how it helps that it's not trying to be bigger than it is. It's really small, really contained, obviously, on the one island. It only is over 1-2 days. It's a good conspiracy, really good mix. Mark Ruffalo's really good. And there's a bunch of small Easter eggs that I didn't realize, and then rewatching, I was like, holy shit. It's just it was a really fun rewatch. I feel like one that's, like I said, small, contained. You can just throw it on, a fun mystery, and even though you know it, it's fun to rewatch it.
What I like about that movie is, like you said, mystery. I think it's really interesting because I don't think it hinges on the mystery, like knowing what happens at the end, because essentially the movie, the twist at the end is that he's okay with
Spoiler.
yeah
Spoiler alert.
yeah
It's
no,
6 years
okay,
old,
okay, yeah.
but still, like, we should just say if you haven't seen it, it's really good, but just tune out for like 15 seconds.
No, like I think the twist is really interesting in that like the movie doesn't hinge on the fact that like he in the end he knows what he is.
I think it makes it a lot better.
Yes, 100%, which makes it rewatchable. That's why I asked because I think I liked how I think that was like the perfect ending to that story.
I agree.
You know,
Yeah,
I don't think it works if like the conspiracy in his head is real.
No.
You know?
And the whole time you're watching
Right?
it, you want it to be real as an
Yeah.
audience member.
But it's
Especially
just-
the first
it's just
time.
better.
It's way better. Because if it wouldn't make sense, and it would just be too fantastical, and too out there. But I love a good conspiracy movie, and even though the conspiracy's not real, it's really fun to watch. Mark Ruffalo's great.
Classic.
And somebody
classic
pointed out,
unreliable narrator.
that's true. Yeah, great. Fight Club.
Yeah, Mr. Robot, TV.
We don't talk about TV on this
He
show.
doesn't watch TV.
TV is the devil.
I watch all the TV.
Whatever. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm actually looking for a new co-host, so if anybody wants to come on, feel free.
I'm not a co-host. I'm a guest.
Special guest.
Yeah, I'm a reoccurring guest.
Due to scheduling conflicts, Jordan will be the guest again.
Only appearing as a guest.
That's true.
Yeah.
One person, just quick, I want to make one more point, sorry, about Shutter Island. I was reading, probably on Cracked, because I love Cracked. They have really great, it's a comedy website.
Something you smoke or...
Yes. I was reading my crack pipe.
Exactly.
And they wrote an article about, like, little things about Shutter Island, and one of the things that bothered them was, like, how they thought, like, the acting was poor in it, obviously, like, aside from Leo, because he's always good, and Mark and whatever. Ben Kingsley's great, obviously, but, like...
So who was bad?
Like, the extras, like, the cops and the doctors and everything, is what he had said. But then he was like, he realized that since they're putting on this show, they were people who were trying to act like a cop to make this fantasy come true. So they were doing an overblown version of what they thought a cop was, or like a doctor and everything else. And I was like, wow, it's a pretty cool interpretation. But I'll just, like I said, it really feels like it came out in the 40s. It's just a really fun, good thriller. Super small and contained, has a great ending, like you said. And I feel like if it was trying to be more epic, like Goodfellas or The Wolf of Wall Street, it would just be too big for its britches. But Scorsese made a really tight, small, contained movie, and I think for that it holds up. Anyway, it's not what we're not just going to be talking about Shutter Island today. I just kind of want to start out since the summer's pretty much over here. School started again. The summer's over as far as the movie season goes. And honestly, I think this has been a really disappointing summer for me. There hasn't, last year, 2015 was like the year of the blockbuster. There were so many huge movies. And then this year has really fallen off. They're really just movies in general. It's not great. I can barely think of 5 that I really liked.
It was really bad.
I think it's been terrible.
I just keep coming back to the fact that there was no Mad Max this year
To start us off.
Yeah, I forget how spoiled we were that
That was just a perfect film.
The perfect summer movie.
It was.
I mean, obviously we could go down a pretty deep rabbit hole there, but the absence of Mad Max, the absence of Star Wars, which I guess we get later, but we'll be, standing outside in the cold.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really count, but especially, if you're in my shoes, which my shoes are, I've taken a sabbatical from superhero movies.
Is it like size 10, 11?
11,
11.
and a half.
Not bad.
Um, it,
I'm a 13, by the way. Just keep. That doesn't matter.
yeah, if you're not interested in superhero movies, like I think it's really challenging to find a summer movie this year. I
Yeah.
think of like my favorite movies that I saw in theaters, and I would hardly say any of them were like summer blockbusters.
Yeah, I think you're right. And last year, even though like Jurassic World wasn't great, that was a fun summer blockbuster. It worked. It was just a big summer thing.
Absolutely.
Furious 7 the same way, just a big
Yes.
dumb movie.
Yes. Furious 7, Furious 8. There'll be Vin Diesel. I've seen some exclusive footage. He drives his car out of a spaceship down into orbit onto the road.
And then once it's on
The Rock catches it.
right out of
The
there.
Rock catches it out of it. Yeah, it looks incredible, guys.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I like how they're scaling it back for this next one. Just
Yeah.
making it a smaller.
Yeah, right.
movie.
Yep. Yeah. You can't go wrong with those movies.
Yeah.
Those movies are great.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But, when you say superhero movies, this year really, like, I think it's,
Tell me about it. What did I miss? So Civil War, I think, is like, it's either Civil War or Deadpool is the one I have to see, right?
yeah. And the thing about it is that those are the two best, and they were both great. I loved Civil War, partly because Civil War did the rare thing where it gave me everything I hoped it would be, everything I expected. It was pretty much beat for beat, and then it was able to impress me with, like, the ending and certain things. Like, It was like, wow, that's exactly what I wanted. And it was also, like, that came out after Batman v Superman. And after Batman v Superman was such a mess and a terrible thing.
Great title, though.
Yeah, it's like Dawn of whatever.
I don't know how that didn't.
Yeah. Awful. Yeah, it was just stupid. And then, like, after that, like, with that one being way too big and just disappointing, Civil War, like, hurt a little bit box office wise from Batman v Superman, but it was so much better. Deadpool was great, and I love Deadpool. I love Ryan Reynolds, and the movie was really fun. And some people complained that it kept saying how it was a different, I think the thing that, I don't know if Deadpool will hold up as well and going forward, just because Deadpool had the greatest marketing campaign of all time for any movie. I mean, it was ridiculously great across all mediums, across all genres. No movie, just like the trailers were great. They're just funny, fun. But then he just kept doing ads. Like he did a PSA for like testicular cancer as Deadpool, like talking about checking your balls. Did a commercial with little kids where he's running around. He was on The Bachelor, did with a rose in his mouth a commercial, on specifically for that. He appeared on a bunch of different shows. Just really interesting, super funny. Every time they did it, it was like basically him improvising, and it was great. It was just like honestly the best marketing campaign ever for a movie. It was phenomenal. And then the movie was really good and really funny, but like I think a lot of that was because the marketing campaign was so great. Now the movie itself, kept saying, kept telling you that it was different and that it was different kind of superhero movie when really it wasn't that different. It was basically like it was almost beat for beat what a superhero movie should be, but I kind of liked it because it was almost like an early thousands superhero movie, like when they were really cookie cutter. But it's just
It was essentially a superhero movie like that said fuck, right?
Yeah, and then he killed a lot of people. It was gory. It was hilarious. Really self-referential. It had all that great stuff, but like the story structure was very basic, which I really like because a lot of people forget that like that's the main thing you need a movie to do. And when when a movie can give you a really good story, that's the main thing. And a lot of superhero movies now just kind of try to skip past all the origin and the setup and the story to get to the bigger, more exciting stuff, where this really did a good job telling the story. Best love story, by the way, in any superhero movie. That was maybe the best part. That was probably the best part of the movie, was Deadpool and his girlfriend. It was great. It was really.
I wouldn't have guessed that. Do you think this movie works without the fucks? If it's PG-13, see that? Okay, so yeah. Do you think so?
Yes and no. Like,
because then I'm interested.
I think it would have been,
because that actually interests me, and I would consider my big issue with this movie is
which you haven't seen it.
Which I haven't seen, and like I said, I'm not watching superhero movies. I said I would watch one this year, and I have a really hard time like sitting down and watching a Ryan Reynolds led superhero movie. And I know that's just like completely, I have no reason like not to like the movie, but it's really hard for me. So like I have to really be convinced.
And I'm telling you, and you said yourself on the Jason Bourne one that you're a sucker for love stories. The love story's great. It really is.
It actually interests me because
it's really real and funny, and like once you see it, you'll be like, all right, that was really good.
Because my thought going in is that I might be immune to Ryan Reynolds' kind of like style of his just kind of Ryan Reynolds-ness, I think. It's like like I'm 100% immune to like Kevin Hart's humor. Like I think it's the same way for Ryan Reynolds, but I don't know. Like maybe I'm wrong here.
There are definitely parts where it's Deadpool humor and Ryan Reynolds humor, and you can see the difference. And Deadpool humor is really, really great, and sometimes I wish they would have stayed more with that. But the Ryan Reynolds humor works, and he's just a charming guy. You don't mind hanging out with him, and there's not a lot of him just being him, but the stuff that is really good. Now, the villain is kind of cookie cutter, but not as bad as most movies nowadays, especially Marvel movies. Like this one, like I liked hating him. He was an asshole, and he wasn't that interesting. But at the same time,
who's he played by?
The dude who was in the newest Transporter, that weird looking British dude with like a shovelly face. Really jagged and. I don't know his name. I'll look it up.
Destined to be bopped by Jason Statham.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. But and this one came out in freaking February, by the way.
Yeah, this is not a summer movie.
And that was one of the things. The marketing campaign kept putting out these super cheesy love trailers like Valentine's Day. Come see it with your significant other.
This is how good summer movies were.
Yeah.
Talking about a movie in February.
Ed Skrein.
Okay.
This fucking guy.
Huh.
This goofy looking dude.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
That guy.
Huh. That would not have been my first guess. Okay, so I think that's gonna be the superhero movie I see. I don't know when it's gonna happen. Maybe we can talk about it when I
have it here. I have it right now. We can watch it right now. Today. What are you doing? Let's go. Let's stop the podcast.
If there's if mysteriously another podcast appears next week,
if this one runs for 3 hours, we'll just commentate the whole time.
Right.
No. Okay. Yeah. So Deadpool, Civil War, but like with Civil War, like I said, being exactly what I wanted, exactly what I expected, which I loved. I think since it didn't really do much to help or like change the superhero genre, I think people were kind of like, oh, this is what we're going to get now. And then with X-Men Apocalypse being about as mediocre as they come, and I was really excited about that. I just saw it in the cheap seats not too long ago, and it just wasn't that great. It was okay, but with Days of Future Past being so good, and then this one was like it just was kind of
Isn't Oscar Isaac like the big blue dude?
yeah,
Okay.
Apocalypse.
This will bring me to like one of my points I want to make about kind of why I'm frustrated with summer movies, and the fact that we don't have an Oscar Isaac movie this summer, and we certainly like deserve one, and he deserves one. I feel like not only having all these summer movies just kind of suck, but it's not only is it like, oh, as the viewer, too bad like we don't get a movie, but it's also like a waste of talent, isn't it? Not having like having these people doing things that basically they could be doing other. It's like the Birdman argument, the super shrill lady is just like angry because they're doing something better at the theater. That's the kind of the feeling I get with some.
So you're the lady the critic who licked the homeless guy's asshole.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're that fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like, do I like? Again, like maybe I would have. I like the first two X-Men movie, but like, do I think that Oscar Isaac playing a weird blue, I don't even know what he is, apocalypse guy, is that the best use of his time right now? Like,
hey,
here's a guy that's like paid his dues. He's been in the business for so long. He's just making it big. He's in Star Wars now. He's arrived, and we have him playing a big weird CGI blue dude.
I'm sure that
it kind of frustrates me.
I'll tell you this:
we could be using these there's better allocation of talent than what we get.
So are you saying we're spoiled with having Hugh Jackman and Michael Fassbender and what's his face, James McAvoy, all these great Jennifer Lawrence, all these phenomenally talented people? Is that a waste of their time? Because they were great in those. And in this newest one, Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, I was just like, these guys are so good. Jennifer Lawrence didn't give a shit about that movie. She was terrible in it. But like, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, mortgages on their house, I'm sure, are really high. And when you're offered a big money, like a lot of money that,
I'm not saying like don't go out and get that money. Keep getting them checks, Oscar Isaac. But I just, I know like having him. I feel like the difference is like between like this year and last year. Like last year, we get Oscar Isaac dancing with his, dancing in his mansion with his like cyborg sex bot.
Yeah.
And this year we get like a CGI blue guy Oscar Isaac, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's frustrating. I'm frustrated with like the whole summer, and that's like that. I feel like that's like an easy example to use as like there's a guy that could be doing something better.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but it's just, I don't know. It has been just super disappointing, and you look at, it's so forgettable. Like I've already forgotten a lot of these movies. I saw Suicide Squad recently, and after coming out of that, and I was really.
I saw Suicide Squad memes. I feel like
that's enough. That's probably better than the movie.
Yeah.
Because the thing was I was excited to see it. I wanted to see this movie. I was hopeful for it, and I actually was. I wanted to see it. I was excited to see it, and then like. It's hard to. I was trying to stay away, but you can't on the internet, especially with the stuff I do. You can't steer away from the negativity that comes out. And still, I was like, I don't care if the critics like didn't like it. I'm gonna go in wanting to like it because I want to like it. Coming out of it, I was like, that's a good example. Like, if you want to show people how important editing is. If you look at that movie, that was edited terribly.
How so?
Just
as a person that hasn't seen it, like what?
Well, for one thing, the
I feel like that could be like a strength of the movie.
Was that it was edited terribly.
Yeah.
That's a good
Well,
thing?
no, I feel like that could be an easy strength of like how you add like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think
Because
definitely.
it looked like I'm like, oh yeah, it's a DC movie with like colors and
Right.
so that
And
even that was bad.
there were parts of it that I liked, and there were parts of it that I thought had potential. A couple things didn't really work that well. The villain was dog shit, absolutely terrible. It should have been Jared Leto. If they're gonna put the Joker in the movie, have him be the main villain. Like seriously, have them go after him. Like the one they went after and all that shit was just the worst. Like the worst, and so confusing. The editing was annoying because like it starts off like you're going up to the jail and you think, all right, here come the character intros. We're gonna start to see these guys, and then instantly, like, there's no setup. It's just like, here's Deadshot, and you're like, whoa, what? And just like start without setting up anything else. It was just instantly like, oh, here's Deadshot, like, and going into his backstory. It would have been way better if it just slowly took you into the jail, set up how terrible this place was. You're looking by the cells, and then you see how terribly these guys are treated, and then at some point you get into Deadshot's cell, and then you go into it, and then it's just there's just a way to pace it out better. It's just so choppy, and just watching it, I was like, wow, this is terrible because it's like you don't have it's like you have loose shocks in your car, like you're just going, you're like, whoa, what the hell? It's just not smooth. It's hard to control, and then when you do that, it's hard to follow along with what's going on. And then there was just a great way they could have set it up and just didn't. There's a lot of stuff that was just in your face, a lot of stuff that was ham-fisted, just didn't make a lot of sense, discombobulated, all over the place, just a mess, really. And, when those reports come out of studio interference, it's like they clearly had another editor come in and like, all right, we got to make this more fun, instead of like, whereas Deadpool, like, the editing in that was great. Like I said, the setup and the pacing, all classic storytelling ways. Just an easy way to do it, and they didn't do it in an interesting way. They did it in a shitty way, where it was hard to follow along, and it was just a waste of what could have been a really cool thing. Now coming out of it, I really like Deadshot, Will Smith as Deadshot. I liked Harley Quinn, but that was because those were the only two characters we spent time on. They were literally like the only two that they talked about. And I was like, why not set up these other guys?
You weren't a fan of Killer Croc?
No, he was awful. God, he was bad. Just terrible. I mean, really bad. Really bad.
One of the most dumbfounding things about this movie that I can't understand, and again, I haven't seen it, but like one of my favorite like types of movies, or maybe you could even call it a movie trope, is like an assembling the band movie.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible to fuck up. Like it's just like it's super fun. It's super exciting. I thought for sure this would be a fun assembling the band movie, and maybe the second one would suck. But like, how do you mess that up? Like,
no, I know.
That's one of the easiest movies to make.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like when you watch it, you're like, why isn't this better? I could get in the editing room. I don't know shit about editing. And I could be like, all right, this needs to go here. All right, let's set this up a little bit more. Let's do this here. Assembling the band, you're right, is awesome, and it's great. And, like, it was just so annoying, and it should have just been an easy thing to do. But, and it's a good segue, but I'm going to hold on to the segue for a second, because the last summer movie I saw, now I haven't seen War Dogs yet, inside joke off podcast. I haven't seen War Dogs yet.
We like movies with Boston accents, and we like imagining movies like if they would be better with Boston accents. And the answer to the question is
yes.
All movies would be better with Boston accents.
No, there's the joke.
All movies would be better with
just thick, almost unintelligible
Boston accent. You
fucking War Dogs.
Just cast Casey Affleck in every movie, like
you're not your father.
Your father.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Now it's not an inside joke. Now you all know.
Yes.
Great.
You
gotta let him in.
We're gonna talk about Boston.
It's true.
Talk about some
But first we gotta stay on point here. Okay, so
You were making a segue.
yeah, I was, and I wanted to like, I'll just say this quick while we're still on summer movies. I saw a Sausage Party. It was okay. I kind of expected it to be okay. A friend of mine had super high expectations. He was really disappointed. I pretty much like, again, I went into that wanting to like it. That was one that was like, it was a little long. It really, they didn't spend a lot of time of foods getting eaten. It spent a lot of time. It really was like, why isn't that the whole movie?
You wanted more food to be.
Yeah, it was dumb. It was like in the trailer.
I liked that movie. I think I liked it more than you.
Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I
didn't hate it, but it was like they're really swearing way too much. It got annoying. I was like, all right, I get it. Like you can swear in a kids movie. Like it kind of lost its luster, and it was okay, and the ending was great, and there were little things that were okay, but it was a lot of like, and it was they spent a lot of time on like the religious aspect of it and a lot of the, hey, fuck you for believing in God, which I'm okay with because I get it. Like, I get that, I shouldn't put but I wasn't like, I hate this movie because of that. It was like, they're really hitting me over the head with this.
It was absolutely a movie that was trying to say, it had a lot of big ideas, which I actually was really surprised. Yeah, the theological aspect of it, like it was pretty ham-fisted.
And then they referenced it being ham-fisted, and then I was okay. Like that made it okay with it. When they were like, "Look, you're being an asshole about it," I was like, "Yeah, okay, then I'm fine."
Absolutely, and I thought it was, but I enjoyed that. I like movies that have big ideas, and like the idea of like sexuality, like that you can have like all these really interesting ideas in a movie that's, animated and ridiculous and has stargates and has food orgies. Like to have all that together kind of actually makes it work even better, because they're really, when you think about it, like these issues that it's like talking about, there aren't like clear answers for, and so having the absolute like most ridiculous thing along next to it kind of makes it work more in my head. I like Sausage Party.
Yeah, I did too, but I think really what you're saying with the big ideas, it had a lot of big ideas. I don't think it fleshed them out enough.
It didn't. Yeah,
for me,
it didn't quite hit the mark with any of those like really big topical things. But I applaud it for going there, because without that, I think it's just kind of empty.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, but I also don't think you're right. I'm just kidding. I don't really. There isn't, again, not a clear answer. Wink. But so I thought it was all right. Yeah, and there were like, I just wanted more actual shock value, because that's what it's marketing is like. This is crazy. Look at this shit. And, like, the ending was that, for sure. It was like, holy shit, this is what I wanted. I wanted more of this. But the rest of it was just kind of like, hey, look, we're swearing all the time. Like, hey, fuck, shittity, fuck. Like, it's like, I get it, all right? I get that you can swear in a kid's movie. And, like, I don't know. And now there's that big controversy about how they effed over all their animators. Like, they didn't give credit to over half of their animators at all. So like that's a big deal.
I thought the animation was like,
great.
It was
really good.
There were several moments in that movie where if I was watching at home, I would have had to pause. Like the honey mustard scene, like the thing he was doing with his eyebrows, like I was like crying. It was so fun. I think that was my favorite food/character was Honey Mustard. He saw the light. He came back. He came back. He knew the terrible truth.
Yeah, he killed himself.
It was so good.
Yeah, and
Danny McBride, shout out.
Yeah,
I thought
up
a
and
couple
coming.
of like the casting choices were a little bit too on the nose. Having Nick, is it Nick Kroll?
Nick Kroll.
Yeah, Nick Kroll. Like having him play like a douche. And like,
that was
kind of is a douche.
yeah,
Like,
that
I
was
think that's a little
that was
too,
definitely on the nose,
yeah.
but I couldn't quite tell who the douche was. And then at the end, I was like, all right, I like
Oh
that.
yeah, yep,
Like,
yeah.
I wasn't sure, and then when they said Nick Kroll, I was like,
Right.
yeah, he is a douche. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really like him that much.
Yeah. Like
Like,
I think it was a little too on the nose, but don't I don't hate it.
I didn't realize Edward Norton was in it, let alone doing a Woody Allen impression the whole time.
Yep.
And then it said Ed Norton. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know that was Edward Norton. Hell yeah, I was excited
He was
about
the
that.
bagel, right?
Yeah, he
the
was
Jewish bagel.
he was just doing a Woody Allen impression the entire time, and I honestly thought it might have been Woody Allen. Like, nope, it was Ed Norton. I was like, hell yeah, fucking Ed Norton, man.
The one of his many talents.
And Bill Hader was great as Firewater. I love that guy. Just like a character, Yeah, the Indian, the Native American. He was basically a caricature of old movies with Indians in them.
Yeah,
Bill Hader. Oh yeah, I'm talking about fuck a guy high. You know what I'm talking about. At the end, they're like, yeah. Oh man, he was great. I love Bill Hader. I wish he would get more work. I really do. But anyway, enough sausage party.
I will go see it.
Yeah,
I recommend it. It has a lot of big ideas. It's not short. I don't think you can really not laugh at it. I don't think anyone thought it wasn't funny.
No, and it's
You take it at base value. It's
Yeah.
interesting. We're not going to see another animated movie with the amount of fucks and food orgies and Stargates and
yeah, and I think I'm glad you brought up the big ideas. That didn't really hit on, because I think a lot of people it's kind of a lot to promise, and then when it doesn't really totally go all the way there, I think some people would be kind of slighted by that, but it's funny. I think you'll have a good time. You'll definitely be shocked. Probably more shocked than I was. I expected a lot of that stuff, so I wasn't that shocked until the end. And the ending was like, okay, I wanted more of that. Anyway, done with Sausage Party. What I was going to use as a segue was when you said team-up movies should be so easy. We have a team-up movie coming up, a classic team-up movie, the Magnificent Seven remake, which is a remake of Magnificent Seven, which is a remake of Seven Samurai, the original team-up movie. Mm-hmm. So, Oscar season's coming up. Magnificent Seven, Best Picture, maybe?
I'm going to say no.
And why is that?
I think a lot of this movie hinges on Denzel Washington being really, really good, but I don't think he can get to the point to actually carry this movie as much as I think it needs to be Best Picture worthy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was joking.
Maybe I'm okay. Yeah,
that was a joke.
Okay,
I know.
Took it very seriously.
Really?
I was like, I don't think so.
You're like, am I missing something about this?
I'm like, I get people really like Chris Pratt. Like, I get it. Like, I was about to go on a tangent about
you were really diplomatic there. You were being very nice. Just I don't think that it would be able to do that, honestly.
Yeah.
That might be kind of a crazy.
That's just that was I've seen the trailer once and maybe I don't know enough about the movie. Yeah,
dove into it. No.
There's the Gatling gun and
I don't know if a Best Picture.
Chris Pratt is winking a lot.
He's good at that.
He's making jokes.
Yeah, I'm excited because I love Ethan Hawke, and he looks like he's one of my favorite actors working, and he is definitely like what you talked about, that theater critic, a theater critic's wet dream. Even though he does some big movies, obviously, but he does so much theater and loves theater, does those small, interesting movies. He's just I love him. He's a great guy, super interesting, and just in the trailer alone, I'm like, Ethan Hawke's bringing it, man. He's putting it all out there. I'm expecting to be kind of just a dumb, fun Western. I don't need it to be the next best thing. I'll see it, but so there's that. Then
are we in? Are we in on?
I'm gonna see it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not. My expectations aren't that high. I'm going in just wanting a fun Western action movie, and if we get that, I'll be happy. I'm not because Antoine Fuqua hasn't made a lot of great movies lately. I'm not expecting this to be half as good as the original, or a third as good of Seven Samurai.
I don't even think we can
I don't think you can
put
compare
it in that cat.
You
Like,
can't.
obviously, they're like going for something completely different. It looks like I'm a huge fan of action comedies. Like, I think there's nothing better than like a good action comedy. Like, I could just use that every year or so.
Yeah, The Nice Guys was phenomenal.
Yes,
One of my
absolutely.
second favorite movie of the year.
Yeah. And I'm all on board on this being good, but I don't know. It looks like what I think. I can't put my finger on it. I think it's like a Chris Pratt thing. Like I'm getting a little immune to.
He's a movie star.
Yeah, he's definitely a movie. He kind of like. It's getting to the point where like he comes on set and he just kind of like does the Chris Pratt thing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of cute for like the first like several, but at some point I need to see something different. So we'll see. I don't think this is gonna be the movie to do it, but
we'll see. So one that
what else we got?
Sully, Tom Hanks, directed by Clint Eastwood, about the dude who landed the plane in the Hudson. Now, we were talking about this earlier, and like we were both
Brought up a great point.
right. That's what I was like. We were both alive in 2013 or whatever this happened. Like,
yeah, we were barely alive though.
barely alive.
Barely had any sense of
where
the world
right.
or
what was going on.
conscious thought was going on. Yeah.
And like just watching the trailer, obviously it looks like a classic Clint Eastwood movie. High tension, a lot of like, kind of reminds me of Flight, even though that wasn't Clint Eastwood. But like, Airplane.
That's
controversial.
That's what I'm okay.
Just
so
a second.
I'll just
say
okay.
that, okay?
Okay.
So, controversial, like whatever. But yeah, the point that we were talking about was like, I was like, I don't remember this being much of a controversy. Like, honestly, it was like he landed it and automatically was like, he's a hero, we're making a movie about it. Like, it was almost the day after. It was like, this dude's a hero, let's make a movie about it. And I get, like, he was probably questioned about what happened to make sure, but I was like, I don't ever remember any doubt of him being, like, a hero and people being like, I love Sully and all this other, like... So I don't know if I'll buy all this tension in it of like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like, did something happen that I didn't know about? But when it's a true story, it's like, yeah, he did it, and people were like, cool, thanks for saving us.
This is either, like you said, it's either wasn't that big of a deal, or it could be, and this is. If this was directed like by anyone besides Clint Eastwood, I don't think I would be interested at all. But since it is Clint Eastwood, I will probably see it. And the other thing that it could be is the environment that media is like lives in now. Like the 24-hour news cycle could have basically made this like an irrelevant like story. This could have been like a thing for 24 hours and then it was done, and we actually don't know. And that would actually be really interesting. If it was a really big deal, and just like how we treat stories these days, recycles and basically just throws them in the dumpster that quick. If that is the case, like then I'll be like, wow, because obviously Clint Eastwood is not. A millennial by any.
He's not.
So maybe he's like, wow.
He's right on the edge, though.
Yeah,
whatever that year cut off.
I know. Yeah,
he was born like 83 instead of 84.
He gets it. Yeah, he's like us. He gets it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if this is like a thing where like he's like, wow, this is an actually like crazy story, and the media basically recycled it in less than a weekend, then I'm like really in. Then that's really interesting to me. But like you said. I have a feeling this wasn't as big of a deal.
Honestly, with that point, you made me way more interested in saying it. Like, because, yeah, like, I mean, it totally could have easily, the media could have been like, oh, he's a hero, he did it. Nothing else to see here.
and then
Go about your business.
yeah, and then a day later, someone says something insane. Donald Trump is gonna, he's gonna move all people to the moon, and who aren't,
Right.
who don't look like him. Yeah, and then it's just like it's gone. Like, oh yeah, who was that guy that landed the plane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
And to come back to your point about Flight,
Yeah.
I also have some beef because
Flight is your favorite movie of all.
Absolutely. I know Hollywood loves redundancy, and I don't fault them for that. But if we're gonna compare movies, Denzel landed a plane upside
down.
upside down, mind you,
Outside of
upside down.
church.
He was lit.
Yeah, he was not there.
Hurricane in hand, upside down. If you can't beat that, I don't know if you should make your movie.
And Flight was so good. That's honestly like I think it's a little underrated, even though everybody loves it. Like people don't talk about it much. I'm like, that's a great movie. And I love the ending of it. Like I really love the ending. But like just Flight in general is a great movie. And like Sully, yeah, this is like, oh, let's use the Flight formula and just make it a little more white. Like, we'll put Tom Hanks in there. We'll put Clint Eastwood directing. We'll get rid of some of the dark controversy stuff, and we'll just make it a fun movie.
It will be absolutely impossible for me not to compare this movie to Flight.
Unfortunately.
Even though I don't care if Flight didn't, like, for all I know, Flight happened too. That's a true story as well.
As far as I know.
As far as I know. So, if it's not better than Flight, then I don't care about it. So,
look it up.
Yeah, was it true? Based off true story. Yes. Yeah, that's you didn't know.
Loosely inspired by the 2000 crash of Alaskan Airlines Flight 261, which was caused by them flipping upside down.
Which Denzel actually.
But it had no survivors, so the difference is that they survived in the movie.
You're saying Denzel didn't do this in real life?
Correct. He's not.
I always assume that like Denzel does these things in real life, and then they make movies based off of like what he just did. He kind of recreates his own events. That's what I always assume.
Yeah, I think that's what you might be confusing that.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
You might be confusing that with Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise does that. His movie.
Jack Reacher. Can we go one pod without mentioning Jack Reacher 2?
Not as long as you're the special guest.
Okay, what do we got next?
Well, this one I just saw. This is the first time I've heard of it. Saw the poster. It says Shut In, a heart-pounding thriller about a widowed child psychologist who lives in an isolated existence in rural New England. No, but I'm going to see it. And it looks like it could be awesome or terrible. Either way, I'm excited. I love bad horror movies, and I love good horror movies. There's some bad horror movies that I hate, but like just looking at this, it's like, all right, I'm in.
Okay.
The wildlife looks terrible.
Okay.
Bridget Jones' Baby. There we go.
We're saving. We're gonna do a special podcast to just completely blow out the entire Bridget Jones universe because I think that's what it deserves.
Yeah, you think he's joking, but he's actually talked about this before.
Weigh in on Bridget Jones' Baby.
Snowden, what do you think about this? Because I'm not a huge Oliver Stone fan. I love JGL and Nicolas Cage in a movie together. But with Oliver Stone's name, I'm kind of like, whatever. And like the Stone story is, I feel like we all know it. I don't know if it needs, because like, I just feel like we've been through it all. We know it all. Feels a bit redundant. And with Oliver Stone, his last few movies just haven't been that good. So with this, it's like, oh, it's a story we know all about. Let's see if he does anything different. Nope. I feel like
you're right about Oliver Stone, and I'm actually tired of Oliver Stone doing topical movies. Like I don't think it really works. It's really hard to do something, especially that's just happened. Like he tried the 9/11 movie, right, as well.
He did one of them, Ladder 29 or whatever,
Yeah,
with Nick
and
Cage.
yeah, and I would just rather he try. I'm not in on that movie.
I'm not either.
I think, yeah, like you said, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I think his Snowden impression is kind of weird, and it'll like. I don't think I can really get into it. I think it would have to like. I think that movie really only. I know it gets made because it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt and it's Nick Cage and it's Oliver Stone, but I think the only way that movie works is if it's not people that I know. And
That's a good
Snowden
point.
is such a he's such a like a character like he's so someone like people know so well, like his face just like people like, oh yeah, that's Edward Snowden. Like it's really hard to make a movie at this like moment that's like believable.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. That's a long-winded way of saying that. I don't think I'll see that one.
Yeah, definitely. So this Miss Peregrine home for peculiar.
Weigh in, please. Sign me up. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
When Jacob discovers clues to a mystery that spans different worlds and times, he finds Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Yes.
But the mystery and danger deepen as he gets to know the residents and learns about their special powers.
This is yeah.
I also do trailer narration on the side, so if you have a gig, let me know.
Right. Again, another. I don't think this will be winning any Oscars, but
I don't think I'm gonna see it.
no, I'm 100% gonna see it.
All right, I'll see it with you.
This is absolutely a prequel to The League of Extraordinary Men, and another movie which I think is fantastic, and I think it'll be okay.
Yeah.
I love Eva Green, and I have a soft spot for her in my heart. So
Samuel L. Jackson's one of the only actors that works all the time, constantly in movies, and I still love him. Like, I don't know if I'll get sick of it.
I think he was actually, I think his Allstate commercial is actually like a part of this movie. Like they just filmed like both of them at the same time. Like that's how busy he is.
You just keep saying what's in your wallet throughout the movie.
Yep. Yeah. If you see that, like, don't be alarmed. It's also a commercial for Allstate. Like, that's how you know Sam L is getting it in.
So this is another movie here that a lot of people are talking about. This is like on the top of everybody's list. I'm not that excited to see it. I don't even know if I'll see it. It's called Deepwater Horizon with Mark Wahlberg, Peter Berg directing it.
Okay.
Kurt Russell. That's the only thing that makes me want to see it. But like, it's basically about in like 2010 or something. There was an oil. They were drilling for oil, and it happened to be the worst oil spill in U.S. history. That just doesn't sound that exciting to me.
Very topical. Things that have happened in the recent past.
But the thing is, this doesn't take place in Boston. And Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg are teaming up later. We'll tease this a little bit.
Tease it out
just a little bit. You know, maybe I'm a little more excited for that one. But this one, like, I don't know. I guarantee you it's going to be cookie cutter, bullshit, drama, a little bit of action. Mark Wahlberg's going to be blackface from the oil. And he's going to be some kind of a hero. And, like, I can see it all in my head of just a shitty disaster movie.
You're talking me into it.
No, don't say
this is sounding better and better. Like, what's your problem?
It's exactly like everything you've ever seen before.
I love it. Yeah, let's do it.
You're not allowed to see it. One that people aren't talking about that much that I'm actually excited about is Masterminds. Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Jason Sudeikis, Zach Galli, Owen Wilson. Action comedy, like you said. I've seen a couple trailers. It looks like it could be really shitty, but at the same time, like, the trailers all got me. It set up an interesting story-ish. And, like, Jason Sudeikis in the trailers was just making me fall off my chair laughing. He's a great character actor. Zach Galifianakis is doing his kind of southern his Carolina sort of accent in it.
Okay.
Kind of the goofy, smiley guy. Kristen Wiig looks like a sleuth in it, which I'm excited to see. I don't know. I think it looks really fun, and the fact that a lot of people aren't talking about it kind of makes me want to see it. But have you seen the trailers for this? They came out like a long time ago already.
I have not. It's not
From the director of Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre and some other stuff.
right. It's off the bat, it's not as interesting as a Mark Wahlberg drilling for oil in the ocean, but or spilling oil in the ocean, I should say. Yeah, fucks it up.
It's not in Boston.
Yeah, it's not in Boston. This movie doesn't have a lot going for it, to be honest. No, yeah, I'll see it.
Let's
I
see
like
that together.
Yeah, Masterminds.
We're going to. We're in. We're in on that.
What's our next one?
This is probably both of our most anticipated of the year.
Okay.
American Honey. We talked about on the last podcast. We talked about A24 independent movies. I'm so excited for this. I don't think there's any way this can be bad, honestly. And I know that's a really scary thing to say, but with Shia LaBeouf, with this just how it looks, even if it's bad, you could make an argument that that's what it's supposed to be. That no matter how it turns out, that it's going to be great in its own way.
It is one of those kind of sweet spots where,
Sweet American Honey. Sweet. Very nice.
I get this way with movies where I'm almost, it doesn't really matter what they put in front of me. I'll have a good time with it. This seems like one of those movies, so I'll see it. I'll probably like it.
Yeah,
no matter what.
I think no matter what, you're gonna love it. It's probably gonna be one of your favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
already.
Yeah,
it probably already is.
It is. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do. Is I put movies on my list that I haven't seen yet as my favorite of all time. It usually works out too.
Yeah, I always joke with Jordan. I'm just seeing the movie, that's an afterthought, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't, it's like a formality for me, for some movies. You put Nicholas Winding Refn and Ryan Gosling in a movie, and that's
top 10.
That's a top 10 movie. 100%.
Yeah, we're in on that.
Okay.
Sorry, we gotta try and, we really took our time, so we're gonna try and speed through these last ones. Birth of a Nation made a lot of news at Sundance. Now I've heard it's okay. I've heard it's kind of like a TV movie. It's just not that great. But I think, and now there's all that controversy with Nate Parker. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, well, I guess I don't know the controversy. I was just really intrigued to see directed by Nate Parker, starring Nate Parker. There's not a lot of player coaches, left. That's kind of like a
Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood can still.
So I'm definitely interested to see this, just based on the fact that it's really hard to do that. I guess I missed the controversy, but I will probably be seeing.
The controversy was that when Nate Parker was a freshman at Penn State or something, or Pittsburgh, where went to college freshman year, or no, was he? I don't remember if he was a freshman or a senior.
Yeah, regardless.
Whatever, he was in college, and he raped a chick, and the guy who co-wrote this with him, while he was raping her, the guy looked in, and Nate was like, "Hey, come on," and then they double raped her. They double teamed her.
Is this allegations?
No, this happened. They were taken to court in 97 or whenever it happened, and apparently it's all happened. But now it's just made the news which is annoying to me because look, if you notice there, I didn't sugarcoat that at all. Because it's a terrible thing to do, and the guy's a piece of shit. It's it's one of the worst things you could do to a human being, and it's just awful. But I don't want to brush over the fact that why does this get released when he's gonna release a big movie? He's finally gonna get in on the scene. Look, that happened back then. I didn't read into if he got jail time or whatever, but that's only coming up now because people want people to click on their articles, and it's like you're like, which I mean, there's an argument to be said that they're trying to ruin his life because he ruined her life, but it's just annoying to me that people are just like, hey, now that he's famous, let's bring this up again so that we can make money off of it. It's not in the best interest of what happened to that lady because now she has to deal with it again. People are going to have to start asking questions again, and it's going to come up again, and it's just annoying. And then now, like, and unfortunately, I've heard the reviews in this movie aren't that good, and that was even before the controversy. It was okay, people say it's sort of like a Lifetime movie. Apparently nowhere near as good as 12 Years a Slave, which it's going to be compared to. Okay. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that's interesting. That kind of like, it's kind of a loaded topic that, it, it it's really hard to, separate, like, when something like that, it's like reality from, this happens a lot in, I think, like, a really good example is like sports. Do you cheer for like the team, or do you cheer for like the players in the jerseys, because you have this, obviously sports is, you see this where, there's allegations, there's, charges, with domestic violence, and yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There's another point to bring up too. Unfortunately, if this movie was great, I think everybody would forgive Nate Parker. Unfortunately, I feel like if this movie was phenomenal and a masterpiece, they wouldn't care about the rape. But since it's getting kind of okay reviews, I think people are like, yeah, fuck this guy, he's a piece of shit. Unfortunately, I think that's the world we live in. And we're kind of sausage partying ourselves here. We're bringing up a big issue that doesn't have a definable answer that we're not going to solve right now. But let's just move. Yeah, let's just go past this. We're really running long today, but that's all right. I don't give a shit. So the girl on the train has an extremely long description. Holy shit! Look at that.
Don't read it.
I'm not going to. It's like a 2-paragraph.
It's Emily Blunt, and she sees this one girl, and and then the girl goes missing, and then there's another girl, and then they ask her about the one girl that goes missing, and then she might be a part of it, and then she might be the one girl's ex-wife, and then it looks great. I can't wait.
Yeah, I was really excited about it, but then I was like, this looks like a David Fincher movie that's not directed by David Fincher. The thing that got me excited about it, though, is Rebecca Ferguson's in it, and she was the main lady in Mission Impossible. She was great in that. I didn't know who she was, so I want to see her do more stuff. Obviously, I'll see pretty much anything Emily Blunt's in. I'm in. Hopefully, it's not by the books. I really hope it's really good. But
I'll just say, like we talked about movie tropes, getting the band back together. Another one of my favorite genres is missing white girl movies. They're really hard to fuck up.
Gone Girl.
I love them.
Gone Girl is amazing. I love Gone Girl.
When white girls go missing, it's great. It's great. It's great cinema.
You care, unfortunately. I love it. 21 Jump Street.
I love
Ice Cube.
White girls.
It's my favorite. Like Ice Cube says, when Ice Cube says in 21 Jump Street, he's like, I don't know if you could tell, this kid is white, so people actually give a shit. People actually give a shit. Perfect.
It's an incredible genre. You can't do enough of them.
This is the first time I've heard of this. Looks like a comedy horror. The title alone, I'm all in. The Greasy Strangler. Comedy horror. I'm all in.
Tell me about it.
I don't know. This is the first time I've seen it. Ronnie runs a disco walking tour with his son Braden. When a sexy woman takes the tour, it begins a competition between father and son for her love. It also signals the arrival of an oily strangler who stalks the streets at night. The Greasy Strangler. I'm in.
Let's we'll put it on the map.
I guess it doesn't have good reviews. Just now I'm saying that, but
just because it's not nominated doesn't mean it can't win.
I just closed out the website because I'm an idiot.
I think one of the other ones we wanted to get to. What is your thoughts on The Accountant? Other than
I'm gonna see it.
it might be the best movie ever.
Yeah, definitely. No,
It
I
has
think
top 10.
I'm really excited to see it. I think it looks like one of the I don't know. I think it looks honestly really good, really interesting. Another
Not
another
even.
another David Fincher movie not directed by David Fincher, I think.
Not even being sarcastic. It looks kind of ridiculous.
It really does.
Just the premise of it is fucking ridiculous, but I think it might be great. Ben Affleck. Anytime, gosh, you can't go wrong when Ben Affleck just really just commits to something.
Yeah.
Like it's just fun to. I think that's like half the appeal is watching him just kind of do his thing. So yeah, I'm gonna see that movie.
Even if it's bad, I'll have a good time. All right, go ahead and talk about Jack Reacher.
It's my favorite movie of all time. Nothing else really needs to be said. I don't think. Other than that, it's the best. We'll have a dedicated podcast
just to Jack.
We're piling up here. It'll be right after the Bridget Jones
Analyze.
Yep.
So one that I'm actually super excited about is Doctor Strange, coming out in November. I think this looks like a really cool, different kind of Marvel movie. I've always loved Doctor Strange. He's been one of my favorites. It looks super trippy, and I love Scott Derrickson, the director. He's a horror guy. Really good filmmaker. I'm excited. Benedict Cumberbatch, that's about as safe of casting as you can get for a movie like this. I really wanted Joaquin Phoenix for it, but Benedict is going to be great because he's just, that's just a safe
Does Marvel
pick.
have Rachel McAdams just like on speed dial? Like,
Yeah.
Does she just like, if they need like a female heroine / love interest, is she just like on set?
Yes.
Like, I feel like this is like maybe I'm definitely wrong with this, but I swear to God, this is like how many of these like Marvel movies has she been in? Or am
I don't think she's been in any of them.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
It feels like she has. Like, I swear to God, it's the same character every time. Like, okay? So yeah, like, okay. This is just my problem with Marvel movies and superhero movies in general, but I feel like this will be like a basically like nothing character that will just do nothing.
Rachel McAdams or Doctor Strange?
Rachel McAdams. And Doctor Strange will do all his like Inception superpowers, and yeah. I'm already a little out on it because I saw the trailer and I'm like, oh hey, that's like the same thing as like Christopher Nolan did in Inception. Like, is that like his power, like taking Christopher Nolan scenes? Like, what is that?
You're such a douche.
I know. Don't get me started on this superhero movies.
What a douche. You saw the trailer for Billy Lynn's long halftime walk. We're not going to go deep into that, but you can just say that you're all in for whatever reason.
Kristen Stewart, not Christopher. Kristen Stewart. Any movie she's in, I love. I love Kristen Stewart.
All the Twilight movies.
Yeah, especially the Twilight movies. No, pretty much anything post Twilight, she's been like super interesting in, and I think people sleep on her, and I really like her. So I'll probably see it just because it's her.
What about Fantastic Beasts? And
We can't talk about Oscars without talking about Eddie Redmayne. It's Eddie Redmayne season, so get ready for him. He's here.
Even though Colin Farrell's in this, and I love Colin Farrell, I'm out. I'm not going to see that.
Oh, I'm definitely going to see this.
Because unfortunately, I never got into the Harry Potter movies. They were okay, but when I was a kid, I watched the first two movies and was like, wow, this is really cool. And then my grandparents were like, that's witchcraft. That's the devil. You're going to go to hell if you don't. Wasn't allowed to watch anymore. So unfortunately, I never got a chance to really get into it. It's too late now. I could go back, but I'm a little lazy. So with that, it's like whatever. I don't really care. I'm not gonna see it. It's not that I hate it or like I hate Harry Potter. It's just I just not a fan because I never got into it. So
I'll see it. I'll tell you about it.
okay,
There's gonna be magic.
I'm just looking. Allied looks like I saw a trailer for it. Looks decent. Brad Pitt, Marion Cotillard, uh, French. It's romance, black and white. Looks decent.
Yeah, it like I hope maybe to about sum it up. I don't know like really
I'll look quick.
what else there is, but I hope that we don't have really a repeat of the summer, you know.
I know that's what I'm thinking. Looking through these, like, there's not a lot that I'm super excited to see.
As we were kind of preparing for this, like we were going through it, and there's nothing that really jumps off the page as like that's 100%. Outside of outside of Star Wars, which everyone in the world is gonna see, and it's gonna be great. What do you think? I think we have our last movie here.
Yeah, for sure the big one. There's a couple ones in December, like Office Christmas Party. I saw the trailer. It looked funny to me. It looks like just a forgettable comedy you could go to if you want to see a comedy. Obviously, Rogue One, Passengers could be good. I haven't seen a lot from that. I'll probably see Assassin's Creed, Patriots Day. We're not going to talk about that, but whatever. Why Him could be okay, whatever. So the big one we wanted to talk about here at the end is La La Land. What are you? The trailer just got released a couple days ago. What are your initial thoughts?
I was in on it from the second I saw Ryan Gosling sitting at a piano. It looks so good. Not even the fact that it's Ryan Gosling, it's Emma Stone. They're singing. It's, I assume, L.A. I don't really even know if you need to know anything about the movie. It's gonna be really good.
That's literally all it says.
I'm pretty sure Ryan Gosling can actually sing, right?
Yeah.
He's like,
I think it's both of them singing in the trailer.
Yeah, which is like I'm really excited. We got to pour one out for Miles Teller. He missed this movie.
Yeah. And like what we said too is like they really lucked into just getting Ryan Gosling.
Right. Yeah.
We were talking about this before. Is like Ryan Gosling can just sleepwalk through these kind of roles, and he's great. Just like it's like what he was born to do. He can always fall back on it, and when he really flexes his acting muscles, he's great. But with this, he can just brush it off his shoulder, and he'll be so good. Honestly, I didn't tell you what I thought about this trailer until now because I wanted your reaction.
Hit me with it.
I thought it looked terrible. Like I thought the trailer was dog shit. Here's the thing. Ooh.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Ask me, Luke. Ask me, Luke. Are you excited about the movie?
Are you I don't
Ask
even want. Are you excited about the movie?
Yes, absolutely. Am I going to see it? Yes, absolutely. Do I think it looks good? Yes. I thought this trailer was bad.
So you're not a fan of the trailer?
I'm not. Like, did it look really pretty? Yeah. Did it sound really good? Yeah. Did it tell me anything about the movie? No, which I'm okay with, but it just like
I'm more than okay with that.
I honestly like all I saw were two pretty people dancing and singing, and that's it. And it looked pretty, and it was just pretty, and it's like it threw me off a little bit because I was like, oh, this director of Whiplash, whatever. It was just like it was a bunch of scenes cut together that looked really pretty, it sounded really good, but it really hit me the wrong way. I was like, you expect me to be excited about this just because. That could have been anything. They could have edited together a trailer for frickin' X-Men Origins Wolverine with that, and like did the same thing. Like,
was there not enough J.K. Simmons yelling?
No, there wasn't.
Obscenities.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, like, yeah, jazz pianist falls for this girl. It's fine. It's a musical, but again, like,
you're gonna get your J.K. Simmons.
and I don't love musicals. So if you're just gonna sell me on just like the Blues Brothers is my top 10 favorite movies of all time. That's like the only musical that I love, and it's just if they're gonna do the sing talking like they did in frickin' Les Mis, I'm out. Like, I hated that. I don't like that movie. I hate that stuff.
Les Mis.
It's
Les
so
Mis
bad.
is so good.
It's terrible. And the talk, I filed a false report. It's terrible. I hate it. It's the worst. Like, I really can't stand it. So with this, if you're just going to show me pretty colors and play pretty music, that might as well have been a music video. So, like, I didn't hate the trailer. Obviously, it looks good, and I'm going to see it. I'm excited to see it. But just this trailer alone, there was literally zero substance. It was all style. And so,
I can't wait.
yeah, I'm going to see it. But this trailer that's why I wanted to save it for this. I wanted your real reaction.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
Can't wait. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to see it, but what do you do?
La La Land.
Yeah. So, we talked about a lot of movies here today. The summer's been extremely disappointing. I'm really crossing my fingers that Oscar season will be good. We'll get some really good dramas. We'll see, but, obviously thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll do some more coming up here. At some point we have a very special episode. I'm not going to talk about it quite yet, but when we have some more details, I'll let you know. So we'll see about Oscar season. You can find me on Twitter at LukeLarson89. Again, I'm sorry about me being sick. You can find us on Facebook at L2 Podcast or just the L Squared Podcast. And then you can find us also on Twitter at the L Squared Podcast. Hit us up, give us a like. I put all my stuff out there. This is on YouTube, also on SoundCloud. I'm going to put it on iTunes eventually. If you have any questions, comments, let us know. Comment on this video on SoundCloud. Give us a rating. Tweet at us. Are you ready for all that?
Absolutely. It's been fun today. Peace.